It's time for another video. Hey there, it's Bobi aka Paginator, and I am here today with a magical reading challenge TBR. I am going to be doing the magical readathon O.W.L.S challenge in the month of April, and this is put on by G from Book Roast, and she has this amazing website and she created all these wonderful things to do this reading challenge, and she does an O.W.L.S challenge and a Newts challenge every year, and I will link the video introducing this O.W.L.S challenge in the space below so you can take a look at all of her original content. She's amazing. I am just participating in the challenge and I'm going to tell you what I'm going to read. So here we go. Alright, so how this usually works is that G has created prompts for all of the regular Hogwarts classes here, and you go through the career guide that she has made and decide, okay, I want this career, so I need to know these subjects, and then you do the prompts for those particular subjects. I do it a little bit differently because I can't stand looking at this list of prompts and not trying for every one of them. So in the month of April, I'm going to try to read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 books. I think I should be able to handle that because I usually read at least 10 books a month, maybe sometimes more. And I decided that for this one, I was going to tackle books that were in my classroom library that I haven't read yet. So I went through my classroom library today and picked out books that fit with the prompts that I haven't read. So I'm going to be showing you which one of these I'm going to be reading for each of the prompts from this magical reading challenge. So for Ancient Runes, the prompt says Heart Rune, heart on the cover or in the title. So I chose Love Maybe. This is a book that came with our Scholastic book orders a while ago. It is by Hepler, and it's got all these cute little Valentines candy hearts on it. It is a Valentine's contemporary love story about a girl named Piper. Her birthday is on Valentine's Day, but she is not a romantic. She's like, I've seen too many relationships go sour to be into that kind of thing. But her best friend, Piper's best friend, gets her heart broken 2 days before Valentine's, or maybe it's 2 weeks, let me check, 2 weeks before Valentine's Day. And her other best friend has this recovery plan. She says, we're going to go do this big group date thing, and so Piper's like, I really want to help my friend, so I guess I have to find a date for this. And considering that there's hearts all over this and the word love, maybe she's going to fall in love with this boy that is her date for this activity. Alright, the next prompt is for the class Arithmancy. It says magical qualities of number 2, balance or opposites. Read something outside your favorite genre. This book has been sitting in my classroom library for a couple of years and I have not yet read it, and every time I see it sitting there I'm like, oh, I need to read this book. It is Flygirl by Sherri Smith, and this is about a girl who is biracial, but she can pass as white despite the fact that in the 1940s in Louisiana she would be termed as black, or probably in the 1940s they'd use the word colored, but she is very light skinned, and like I say, she can pass as white. And she decides that she is going to join the W.S, the Women Air Force Air Service pilots, to go into World War II. And she has to pretend that she is white in order to get a position in this. And this is outside of my normal genre because lately I've been really into fantasy, and war stories are just not the thing that I read very often. Next, we have Astronomy. Night classes. Read majority of this book when it's dark outside. So for this one I was thinking I wanted to pick a scary book. This might be a really stupid idea for me to choose to read a scary book when it's dark outside, but I'm doing it. And I thought, what's the scariest YA book that I've read in a long time? And that was What Waits in the Wood by Kieran Scott. And I have another book by Kieran Scott called What Waits in the Water. I hope this isn't a bad idea. So this is about a girl named Hannah. She's excited to spend the weekend with her best friend Jacob at his family's lake house. Her new stepsister Katie is coming along, and Katie is very pretty and seems to have a crush on Jacob, and you know that Hannah is not liking that because he's her friend, and yeah, maybe she's jealous for romantic reasons, or maybe she's just jealous because he's her best friend. Anyway, it says here, but soon jealousy is the least of Hannah's problems. The lake they're staying on is creepy. Really creepy. Rumors swirl about mysterious drowning, supposed creatures, and some kind of curse. But Hannah isn't sure what to believe until one dark night a local girl gets viciously sucked under the water right in front of Hannah's eyes. Did she drown or was she murdered? Yikes. Alright, the next prompt is Care of Magical Creatures. Hippogriffs. Creature with a beak on the cover. This is Ghost Hawk by Susan Cooper. She is the author of The Dark is Rising, which I remember reading a long time ago and loving. And this is a Native American story about a young man named Little Hawk. And he has to spend 3 months alone in the snowy winter woods, part of the ritual of being considered a man in his culture. And he has to survive this time, and then he will be a man. Yeah, so I'm interested to see if this is just going to be just his survival in the wilderness story, or if it's going to play into further issues of white people colonizing the West, or whatever that might be. I live in Wyoming, and so Native American issues are a very big deal in our state, and we have fairly good, I guess, maybe compared to some other states, Native American population, and we have a reservation in the middle of our state, and so it's just something that I always like to read up on Native American characters, because I like to, if I have a Native student in my classroom, I like to be able to put a book like that in their hands if they are looking for a book about someone who looks like them. Next we have Charms, and the prompt for that is Lumos Maxima, a white cover. Immediately this book came to mind, Speechless. The only thing that's not white on here is the label that tells kids to return it to me. This is a book about a girl who's seen something and she's supposed to keep it secret, and she hasn't ever been able to keep secrets well in her life, but the last secret she shared apparently nearly got someone killed, and she has taken a vow of silence to learn to keep her mouth shut. And as she's trying to learn to keep her mouth shut, she is ridiculed by other people, of course, and even her friends might turn on her. So we'll see if she can learn to be speechless. Oh, I forgot to tell you, the author's name is Hannah Harrington on that one. Next, we have Defense Against the Dark Arts, and the creature is Grindylows, a book set at the sea or coast. I chose Lalani of the Distant Sea. This is by Erin and Entrada Kelly, who won the Newbery Medal for Hello Universe. And this was recommended to me by a presenter at a book conference that I went to a couple of months ago, and it gave me kind of Moana vibes because we have a Polynesian girl near the ocean going on this quest to kind of be in charge of her life. The girl is Lalani Sanita, and her mother is very ill and unlikely to recover, and if she can get to the mountain, she can make a wish, but there are like these guardians of the mountain, and you have to get past them, and so I guess I'll find out more when I read it, but there we go. For Divination, it says Third Eye. Assign numbers to your TBR and use a random number generator to pick your read. So I numbered sticky notes 1 to 10, and I went through and just kind of randomly picked 10 books that I hadn't read in my classroom, and if it wasn't in my classroom, I would have filmed me doing it so you can see that it was very random. And then I Googled a number generator, and it gave me the number 6, which was this book, What to Say Next by Julie Buxbaum. This is another one that I heard a lot about and got excited about, and then I bought it and just never got around to reading it because I have a tendency to overbuy on books. So this is about, I believe, a boy and a girl who decide to go on a date. Let me remind myself. Okay, now I remember. They sit next to each other at the lunch table. Kit, just for some reason, doesn't sit with her girlfriends at lunch one day. She sits next to this guy, David, and he says, in 622 days, I've attended Mapleview High. Kit Lowell is the first person to sit at my lunch table. I mean, I've never once sat with someone until now. So your dad is dead, I say to Kit, because this is a fact I've recently learned about her. If I remember right, I believe David is autistic. And that would explain the fact that he said such a blunt thing to her, because lack of social skills is often something that autistic people struggle with. Alright, next one. Herbology. Mimbulus Mimbletonia, a title that starts with an M. I chose Midnight at the Electric. This is by Jodi Lynn Anderson, and it's got time travel and all kinds of crazy things in it. We have 3 different time periods: Kansas in 2065, Oklahoma in 1934 in the Dust Bowl, and England in 1919, the First World War. The futuristic one, in Kansas, we have a girl named Adri who has been selected, or has a shot at being handpicked to live on Mars. So we're having quite a difference of settings here, and it tells us that while their stories span thousands of miles and multiple generations, Lenore, Catherine, and Adri's fates are entwined in ways both heartbreaking and hopeful. I remember hearing about this book again and buying it and just not getting to it, and dang it, I want to read this because I'm really curious to know what a Mars colonist, a girl living during the Dust Bowl, and a girl living through the First World War have in common. Are they family? I don't know. Next, History of Magic. Witch Hunts, a book featuring witches or wizards. I am choosing Truthwitch by Susan Dennard. This is a series that's been out for a while, and I just have never gotten around to reading it. And everyone who's read it tell me that I need to read it, and I have students yelling at me for not reading it yet, so I am going to read it. And I don't really know much about it other than that there's a place called the Witchlands, and somebody apparently is a truth witch, and that's all I'm going to know right now. Next is Muggle Studies, a book from the perspective of a Muggle. In parentheses, she wrote contemporary. So I chose Jackpot by Nic Stone. I loved her book, Dear Martin, and it was fantastic, and I thought this sounded really interesting. This gal on the cover is an employee at a gas station, I believe, and she and her family don't have much money at all. And this kid is a rich kid, so he does not understand her poor girl problems. And a woman who bought a lottery ticket from this gas station while she's working there won like a lot of money, but she doesn't claim it, and so our main character here enlists this guy and said, "You were there when she bought the ticket, help me find her, and if she shares in the winnings with us for letting her know that she won, then maybe I'll split some of my winnings with you," or I don't know. There's stuff happens. I guess we'll find out. Next we have Potions, and that is Shrinking Solution, a book under 150 pages. For this one I went to my nonfiction section and picked up Escape from Alcatraz. This story is fascinating to me, and I've been to Alcatraz. I went on the tour and it was unbelievable. If you ever get a chance to go, do, and take the audio tour. They give you headsets and you can just kind of do your own like self-paced thing. I swear for a minute I thought I had taken a picture of a ghost, but I was standing outside of a prison cell that the wall was like, part of the wall was glass, and so I realized when I looked at my camera screen, I didn't take a picture of a ghost, I took a picture of the reflection of my feet. So no pictures of ghosts, but there could still be some ghosts there, they just didn't show up in my pictures. Anyway, long way to getting to this book. I'm interested to know more about their story. It is, like I said, nonfiction, and the text is very large, so I feel like this is going to read fast, which is great for me. And the last book, Transfiguration, Animagus Lecture, book or series that includes shapeshifting. Pronunciation. Alright, I'm picking Seraphina by Rachel Hartman. This is one that involves dragon shape-shifting, and it's been out for quite a while, and again, I just haven't gotten to it. And because I love dragons so very much, when I saw shape-shifting in the prompt, I just grabbed this one. Like, I'm finally going to read this. There's a lot of, in this world, mistrust between humans and dragons, and so I believe our main character is going to have to kind of ease that tension or take some kind of leadership role in order to bring both sides together, or maybe it's that she's running for both sides. I don't know. Christopher Paolini, who wrote the Aragon series, blurbed this book and said, "Beautifully written, some of the most interesting dragons I've read in fantasy." He wrote my second favorite dragon, which is Saphira from the Aragon series. And if he thinks this dragon is interesting, then I'm gonna love that. I almost said Saphira was my first favorite dragon, but that has to go to Smaug from The Hobbit. Even though Smaug was bloodthirsty and he murdered people and hobbits and elves and things, I just like him. Yeah. Alright, so that is my TBR. Like I said, this takes place in the month of April, and I am filming this kind of a third of the way through March, just to give you a heads up if you didn't know about this already. Again, I will be linking G's video in the space below so you can check out the content that she created, including the career guide, the list of prompts, a letter from Professor McGonagall, and all kinds of fun things. She even has a tracker where everybody from all over the world who reads books can log them in there, and we can see how many pages we all read together during the month of April. It's going to be so much fun. So there we go. Yeah. So next week I'm going to be heading off on spring break, and I don't have anything scheduled as far as filming, but something brilliant might come to me. I don't know. We'll just see what happens. So let me know in the space below if you're going to be doing the Owls Readathon during April and what you're interested in reading. And if you do a TBR video, also comment with your with the link to your video, because I'm definitely interested to see what everyone's reading for this. Have a wonderful and bookish day. Happy reading. Adios.